What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my poker channel. I have some fun hands to share with all of you today, so hope y'all enjoy it.
Ace is cracked.
Three-way all in. Tens, kings, aces.
Already did the flop though.
Where did the flop?
Before we get started, I'm happy to announce that a few of you made the correct guess on the mystery hand from last week's video, so nice job to Vincent, Tev, and Michael. All three of you guessed pocket queens, and that was the correct answer. So all three of you are eligible to enter the drawing for a cash prize. I guess I randomly keep some number squares in my pocket, so I'm gonna toss these in here and make it totally random. So one of you guys will get the cash prize. I shouldn't look at it. All right, I picked number 1. So that's going to be Vincent. So congratulations. I'm going to leave my channel's email in the description below, and you can simply email me your Venmo name and I'll send you over that prize. So congrats again. That's all for the semantics. Let's get right into the action.
Alright, we buy into the game for 20 bucks, and in the second hand that we're dealt, we look down at pocket threes under the gun. So if we want to play, we should be raising, but today we decided we want to be a fish and open limp. All jokes aside, it's actually okay to open limp some low pocket pairs and suited connectors in early position, especially if the players behind you are very aggressive. In this particular case, I noticed that the blinds here are very short stacked. They only have 472 and 809 behind. So if I do raise here, they're quite likely to re-raise all in, and I'd rather not call off an all in with pocket three. So we go with the fishy play, I mean the limp. It folds around back to the small blind, who decides to complete, and the big blind checks his option. We immediately get rewarded for making a fishy play and flop middle set, so let's see what happens. The first player min bets 20, and the next player decides to raise to 70. So facing this action with a hand as strong as ours, we definitely want to raise for value here. The board is pretty wet. There's a lot of spade flush draws and some straight draws such as 4-5 and 4-6 out there. So we definitely want to try to raise and get the money in now. We bump it up to 335. The first player folds, and the next player gives us some good news, rips it all in for the rest of his money. So we snap call here with our middle set, and let's go to a run out. We decide to run it twice. He flips up 6-3 of spades for middle pair plus flush draw. Let's try and dodge that spade and take down this pot. We hit a full house on the first board, so we'll take that one. The second board runs clean, so we'll take down this entire pot. For the next hand, we have 10-9 suited in the hijack position, facing a under the gun raise. Folds to us, and here with this hand, we could be 3-betting. It's a good candidate for that. However, the player did raise under the gun, so his range should be fairly strong. So for that reason, we decide to just flat call here. The button also calls, and the big blind makes the call as well. We go 4 ways to a flop of 8, 9, 10 with 2 spades. We do have a very strong hand here, but this board is super action heavy, so I'm not sure if we want to be blasting off. The initial raiser checks, and onto us. We actually contemplate on what to do for quite a while here. Initially, we thought about betting large to the sizing of about 347, since we have top 2 here. However, we end up deciding to check, which I think is a mistake. We definitely want to be trying to get values from all of the draws out there, such as any queen, any jack, any 2 spades. So yeah, definitely a mistake, but let's see what happens. The turn is a king of spades, so definitely a really bad card for us as the flush gets there, and even some 2 pairs that beat us now, like king 9 and king 8. So yeah, that's what we get for checking the flop. The preflop raiser now decides to throw out a tiny bet of 75 into 410. So facing this price, I think we just have to call. I thought about raising, but it's a little too ambitious. If we raise and then get re-raised, we definitely have to fold as they could have flushes and straights here. So we decided to just call. And our suspicions are confirmed when the player behind us raises to 3 and the preflop raiser now re-raises to 525. Onto us, we just snap fold here. Even though we have 2 pair, I think we're just up against a flush or straight here most of the time. So we just have to make the laydown. The button calls and onto the river, which is a 5 of clubs, a total brick. And now the preflop raiser overbets for 25. So pretty glad we folded on the turn because facing this decision would have kind of sucked with our hand. The button folds and the player that won the pot is on the voice call with us and he tells us that he had the nut flush. So hopefully he's not lying because we totally just dodged a bullet. For our next hand, we look down at King Jack suited in middle position facing a limp. Onto us, this is just a standard open with our hand, so we bump it up to 110. The action folds back around to the initial limper, who decides to rip it all in there. Yeah, so I've seen this player limp re-raise all in with hands like aces and ace-king. Obviously, he's short stacked here, so he could have a much wider range. Regardless, I still think a lot of his range here is weighted towards hands like ace-jack and ace-king, or some pocket pairs, so we're either dominated or flipping against those hands, which isn't an ideal proposition to call the all-in, so we just make the fold and try to find a better spot next time. This is the hand you've been waiting for. It's the mystery hand of the video, so as always, try to guess my hand. Leave your guess in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed and you'll get that chance to win a cash prize, so good luck. It folds to us in middle position and we bump it up to 90. A player behind us makes the call, the other players fold, and the small blind makes the call. We go 3 ways to a flop of queen to 8 with 2 diamonds. This is a pretty dry board. There are some flush draws available and straight draws like jack 10 and jack 9, but other than that, it's nothing to be too worried about. When it checks to us, we decide to check it back and the action checks through. We get to a turn, which is the queen of clubs, which pairs the top card. This shouldn't change too much, so when it checks to us, we check it back again. Action checks around once more, and we get to a river, which is the 10 of clubs. Now, when it checks to us, we decide to throw out a bet of 125. Both players make the fold, and we take down this tiny pot. Since there wasn't too much action, this hand might be kind of tough to guess, so I'm going to give you a hint to help you guys out. Let's just say I was not bluffing in this hand, so what I had was definitely some type of value hand. Hopefully that helps. Good luck. Alright, the action is going to start heating up here as we look down at ace-king in early position. There's a limper to us, and we raise it up to 110 with our premium hand. The action folds around, and the small blind calls. The big blind now decides to min 3-bet to 2. The initial limper makes the call, and now onto us. We have a decision point. Most of the time, we should be 4-betting here, making it something like $6.50 or $7 to go. However, I guess we're being a fish today, so we just make the call. And the small blind makes the call as well. We go 4 ways to a flop of 9 ace 10 rainbow. All things considered, this is a pretty good flop. We have top pair, top kicker, so we're in a really good spot here. And the action checks to us, which is kind of weird because the 3-better should be betting this board most of the time. The ace definitely hits his range as he has hands like ace-king, ace-queen, and ace-jack. So when he checks to us, I'm thinking he might have something like pocket jacks or pocket queens. So I want to try to get tricky and disguise my hand strength here and get value from those hands on later streets. So we go with the check. The turn is a 7 of diamonds, which doesn't change much. It does bring in the flush draw, but other than that, I'm not too worried about it. Straight draws like queen jack and king jack are unimproved, so other than 2 pair like 9-10 and ace-10, we're not too concerned. Once again, it checks to us, so now at this point, we definitely want to be throwing out a bet for value and try to get value from the hands I mentioned earlier, like pocket jacks, pocket queens. So we throw out a bet of 540. The initial 3-better makes the call, and surprisingly, the player behind him also makes the call. We're going through ace to a river, which is the king of clubs. This is a great card for our hand as now we have top 2 pair. So if we were up against a 2-pair hand like 9-10 or ace-10, we now have those hands beat. So we're feeling pretty confident about our hand. And better news, the initial 3-better decides to lead out for 11.54. The other player folds and we just snap call this. Looking back, I definitely made a mistake because I should have just shoved all in considering I only had 5.17 behind. But we wanted to make the snap call and look cool, so we just clicked the button. And the player shows us 9-jack for middle pair, so we're going to take that pot down. For our final hand, things get a little crazy as we look down at pocket kings in middle position. We have an early position open to 120, followed by a call, and onto us with our premium. We're just going to 3-bet here and make it 5.50 to go. The action folds around back to the initial raiser who makes the call, and the other player makes the call as well. We go through ace to a flop of 3-8-4 rainbow. This is a great flop for our hand as it's a very disconnected and low board. Hopefully we're up against a hand like pocket 10s and pocket jacks. The pot has already ballooned up to 1680 and all of us are sitting relatively deep, so let's try to get some money in this pot. It checks to us, and following that plan, we throw out a half pot bet of $7 and get called by one of the players. Onto the turn, which is the 3 of hearts, bringing in the backdoor heart flush draw. And now the player suddenly decides to rip his entire stack of 3110 in there. Facing this action with pocket kings, I think this is just a call most of the time. He could have a lot of overcard plus flush draw holdings like ace jack and ace 10 of hearts. Also, maybe combo straight draws like 7-6 of hearts. So facing all those draws, we just have to call. Sure, we're up against full houses sometimes with 8s and 4s, but there's only about 6 combos of those. And we're not that afraid of trips except for ace 3, of which there are 8 combos of. So we make the call. Hopefully our kings are good. We decide to run it twice, and I'll play out the audio for you guys.
I'm just on a draw. I didn't hit.
I was gonna say.
Oh. Sorry, bro.
You're
Folded
good.
the
I was
flop.
netted. Our kings held up on both boards, so we're going to take down this massive pot. We wrap up our session shortly after that, and after playing for 2.5 hours, we ended up with a profit of about $80.08, which equates to 394 big blinds per 100 hands, so pretty decent win for the night.
That's all for now. As always, thanks for watching. I actually played in a pretty crazy game just 2 days ago, so that'll be the topic of next week's video. So make sure you are subscribed because you won't want to miss that. And also, you'll get another shot at a different mystery hand next week. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you all in the next one.